Hey everybody, welcome to a special, well I'd like to think that they're all special in their own ways. Zenny 62 Live for Sunday night. It is almost, but
Live.
not quite, 9 o'clock in the East. And this is a big week. Credential for Comic-Con, but gonna miss it. I am credentialed for rugby. Gonna make it, barely. Uh, my mom is much better. That's the great news. She's walking and talking and squawking and cooking and looking and smiling and all that great stuff. So, but this, I want to really give a special shout out to Brian Caldwell's, who's been a fantastic fan and friend over the years to Zenny62 and myself, and uh, he answered um, and he answered the call. And what was the call? The call was, if you're in Las Vegas, please make a video of the site. I thought it was gonna be raining. I wanted to see an upgrade. I wanted to just have it out there, right? Because we've seen all these other depictions from Vegas people, but how about from Oakland perspective, right? Not necessarily, but not just me, right? He did it. So tonight I'm going to open the show with, as soon as you all come in, because I think a lot of you are here. But I was just about to say the usual suspects. And But anyway, a lot of you are here, but a lot of you are not here. And this is also a week where the Raiders are expected to sign the lease agreement that they've already actually agreed to remain in Oakland through 2020. Um, for some particular reason, some news organizations have tried, even as much as I have uh, fought against it, to put out this fake news, and it is fake news, that the Raiders are not going to be in Oakland beyond this year. It is fake news, folks. And what happens is that this is standard for those organizations that don't have access or understand how to get information, but they don't want to quote me, um, for reasons that are basically made up and stupid on their part, and I think also race-based, to be honest with you. Yeah, I said it, and I don't care, but it's true. Um, but the bottom line is, hey, the deal's done. It's just a matter of being signed. That's it. I understand, as Jose Lopez just put out here, he says, and I quote, "I want the Raiders to move now and leave the Coliseum for the A's." Well, Jose Lopez, you're not alone. You are not alone. There are a lot of people who feel the way that you do. However, the, my take is the opposite now. Now, earlier it was different. And you would be correct if you were to throw an old video in my face and say, hey, kick him out. I don't care, I'm tired. Because I did say that. All right? I did say that. And Joe Lopez, I said, Jose, I apologize. Joe Lopez just sent a comment saying, I feel betrayed. Again, you're not the only one who feels betrayed at all. There are people who sent me notes that they want terrible things to happen to this deal. I don't, because it involves lives. I've said that before, and I'll say it again. It involves lives, and I don't want to see a situation where tens of thousands of people are hurt needlessly. If it comes to pass the Raiders can't do this, then you know what? They should stop doing it. And right now, it just doesn't look clean. You know what I mean? It looks slow. Now, Dean Willie says, if they're going to sue, then signing a new lease makes sense. Black Lion says, run love. Hey, Dean, and I'm glad you said that, because it jogged into my head what I was going to explain, and that is that the Coliseum, by the end of this deal, will be for the first time in the black, not in the red. The Coliseum has operated in the red for the majority of its years of existence since the Raiders returned. And that's because previous regimes, previous administrations, previous executive directors have been too afraid or didn't know how, or some combination of both, to ask for the appropriate amount of money in rent such that the Coliseum could be operated or ran efficiently. All right? So we've had everything from, let's see, SMG. We had a deferred maintenance deal. Now, I will repeat that. We had a deferred maintenance deal. What does that mean? It means, look, it wasn't written like, oh, you will defer maintenance, but the way it was designed allowed SMG to, all practical purposes, you know, hold back on maintenance, just as a way of saving money. Because they were, SMG, essentially graded on the amount of money they saved the Coliseum. So what better way to save money than to defer maintenance, right? Just saying, okay? So we had that going. And then, of course, most notably, we had the ultra low rent that was charged to the Raiders. And on top of that problem, we had the bugaboo of not collecting rent when we should have. You know? You're talking about an NFL team that is worth billions of dollars, and it has been worth billions for some time. And do you realize that in the case of the Raiders, are going from them being worth $1 billion to $2 billion, and they're still in Oakland? So, and, you know, no one can say the Raiders have suffered. They haven't. Black Lions, so the city of Oakland brought the Raiders back with no game plan for the future. That's why we are here. Black Lion Supreme gets the award for Comment of the Night, and in the very near future, the award for Comment of the Night will be a prize of some kind, like a bag, you know, swag. So, in fact, God, that's a great idea. Oh, that's a freaking great idea. I'll do that. I'll do that. I think I know what the award's going to be, though. I really do. However, I have to do it because of the shipping cost. I need to make sure that I don't, you know, if somebody does this, that we have the cost worked out so that I can, you know, afford to pay the shipping costs, right? Get it to you for what I want to send, and it becomes a net plus from a business standpoint. So, but I'm going to do that because I have some, I want to send some swag, you know, I want to send some Zenny 62 swag, like, you know, something like that. So anyway, enough about that. Dean Willie says, where was the Raiders' plan? They never provided anything. No, they didn't. They never did. And Dean, not only did they not provide anything, there was even talk by Oakland officials like, well, we've seen a plan. We've seen a stadium mock-up. Yeah, right. Corey Brown says, sign lease first. We'll show a judge that Oakland is in fact working with the Raiders despite pending move. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so speaking of which, I'm going to now switch over to because there's a good, where's John Marks when you thought you would have him? John Marks and Barry Lee are not in the house. So I was trying to, you know, wait for them to get in so they wouldn't miss this glorious thing. Oh, by the way, I'll tweet this out because that way more people will see it and know that we are around, right? But I want but by the way, folks, welcome. If you've never been here before, as the late Ricardo Montalban might say, welcome to Fantasy Island. Yeah. Malcontent says, hey, Malcontent. He says, give them 5 more minutes. You got it. Hey, John, how you doing? Hey, Corey, how are you doing? Corey, Black Lion, Dean, how y'all doing? Ricardo Montalban and his rich Corinthian leather, who was on Fantasy Island with Tattoo. Le Plain. All right. I'm hashtagging Raiders. Hashtagging Oakland Raiders. Hashtagging Oakland. Hashtagging Las Vegas. Hashtagging NFL. And putting my stuff in there. Oops, excuse me. Wow, okay. And there, that is out and gone. Perfect. All right, now, Richard Hike is here. How you doing, Richard? Richard asks, why hasn't the Coliseum worked out a naming rights deal, or is Ricky Henderson Field the deal? Seems like lost revenue. It is. Orlando Jimenez says, it was posted, I believe, in the Journal site that they are doing well on the PSLs. Yeah, but I discount the Journal, okay? Yeah, I discount the Review Journal, and I made this post, which I will put here right now, and I'll explain why I did it, because I got tired of what I consider to be the review. I didn't use the Review Journal by name, and I like Rick Vallata. It's not I didn't want it to be personal. Okay, it's not. I didn't intend to be personal toward anyone. I'm simply pointing out the situation. The simple fact that the Review Journal is talking in support of the project and not pointing out, deep problems is indicative of the fact that Sheldon Adelson wants this thing done. If he didn't, oh boy, he'd throw all his money at investigative reporting and bad news, because they do that. That's what the Review Journal does. When it wants to kill something. So, okay, and among other things. But what the Review Journal's point has put out, and I've said this before, is suspect from the perspective of not showing you and I the actual ticket documents. They say it's one thing for people to tell you something, but in an era of video, show me. Don't tell me, show me. Because otherwise, I don't have any reason to believe you. And I'm sorry, people hold me to that standard, and that's why I use video. It's like, well, we don't believe you, Zenny. Okay, well, look at this. That's why I always say do the math. But I made this blog post right here that I'm putting a link to, voila, that basically is entitled Clearing Up LV Fake News on Oakland Raiders Las Vegas Stadium Hotel Tax Revenue. Let me put it this way, make it really simple for everybody, okay? The bond issue that was let for the stadium is such that its first year of debt service is next 2019. If you take a look at the average monthly revenue the hotel stadium tax is bringing in at just a hair over $4 million, it leaves a deficit per month of negative $453,000, which adds up to over $5 million for the year, negative. So they start off in the hole because they're not getting enough money from the stadium tax. It's too doggone small, the rate is, okay? And it's not because of the Las Vegas visitor issues, it's not growing at an appreciative level. It's growing like a hair, almost a little microscopic hair, all right? Like from an average of $4,010,000 to $4,070,000. That's the difference, folks. That's it. All right. So Joe Lopez says, "Oh, Charles Rose says how much money?" There. That's the first year. Now what happens is that the debt service decreases. The total debt service next year. Now remember, I said debt service, not required revenue, not required revenue to pay off the debt. Required is the debt service times 1.5, which is the debt coverage ratio. Keep that in mind, because a lot of people forget that. The debt service is just over $36 million for the year. You take that, multiply that times 1.5, and that's what you need in terms of revenue. All right. Now on a per month basis, that comes out to just over $5 million. Folks, only 1 month in the entire young history of this stadium project has a stadium tax produced $5 million, and that was its first month last year. That was March. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. All right. So um, Joe says, "Oh hey, greetings. Welcome to Zenny 62. Your name is Kazander. Greetings." And Black Lion says, "Up to the fans now if we want the Raiders to stay in Oakland." All right. Without any further ado, I am going to switch over to Facebook, and I'm going to take you on a special tour of what these guys have sent over, which I thought was really, really massively cool, because it is. Now, here he goes, right here. I'm close up on it. I can't, this is, for some particular reason, I can't get it any bigger than this. It won't go like truly full screen, so it's like, this is full screen, right? But here it is, okay? All right, so on a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, so here we are in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's July the 15th. It's Sunday, July 15th right now. And we're just getting on the 15. We're just about headed out of here, headed back home. We're going to present this video without any personal commentary about the stadium or the Raiders or how we feel about it. We're just going to show you what's going on here at the stadium. If you look over here to the left, you'll see like Mandalay Bay and the Luxor right across the 15 freeway. And then right here to the right is the construction site for the stadium for the Raiders here in Las Vegas. You'll notice that there's a bunch of cranes out there. We're going to go over, we're going to get a little closer view of it so you can kind of check out exactly what's going on. But there's a lot of activity. It's Sunday, so obviously there's not a lot of work. They've got, Raider posters all over the site. But there are a lot of cranes out here, and we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna head up. We're getting off here on Russell Road. We're gonna go right on Russell Road here. If you see the little buildings over there, it's got future home of the Raiders and like their construction buildings. So we're gonna turn right on Russell Road from 15. There's a bunch of hotels right here that I'm sure are gonna do well for when there's a football game. You have the Sabre Suites and the Fairfield Inn & Suites by Marriott and the Quarter by Marriott. We're just waiting for the light to change here on Russell Road. And then we'll head down that way and we'll kind of turn around. We'll go around the stadium here. Just a quick tour as we get out of here on our way out of town. All right. Just waiting for the light to change. No turn on red. All right, here we go. All right, so we're making a right turn on Russell Road from Interstate 15. And then the stadium is over to the right there, off the side of the road. You can see there's a big, they've dug like a huge hole where they're doing a lot of the construction. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go right on Polaris Street from Russell Road. So we are heading west on Russell Road from 15, and we're at Polaris. And we're gonna go right, the street is closed, but we're gonna see how far down here we can go. They do have the street closed, but you can see like a lot of the construction equipment. And right now we're doing this from in our car because it's about 113 degrees outside. It's a really warm day, obviously July in Las Vegas. And here's maybe a good vantage point here for the stadium. We can stop here and get out, check it out. So this again is we're on Polaris. We're just off of Russell Road. And you can see the the construction. You can see the Mandalay Bay and their like kind of high-end product, the Delano Hotel off in the background there. Obviously, once again, it's a Sunday, so there's no construction work really to say going on out here. There's nobody out here working. This now, I'm walking back towards Russell Road, so kind of like away from the stadium. Again, this is an issue that we've, it's been hashed and rehashed a million times, right? But where are people going to park? I mean, there is no parking for this facility at all. You can see like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 large cranes here. And you can see how close this is to the airport. I mean, there's a plane right there taking off from the airport, from McCarran Airport. And they've got all the, Mortensen construction site here. We're at Gate 1. And you can see the Las Vegas Strip off in the background. And all of the work that they're doing here for the stadium. They've got like a lot of the concrete poured there for the lower level, kind of on the back side of the stadium. Again, the road is closed here. They've got Polaris closed, so you can't go through. But I think we might actually be able to go through. There's nothing really there that would stop me from going through. So we'll drive around the other side of the stadium before we head out onto the highway. And get out of here. But I just kind of want to give you a quick kind of overview here of what's going on here at the stadium project. Hand the phone back to, and our recorder back to our trusty friend Ralph. Woo! It is hot. Hot outside. So right up here it says the road is closed, but we're just gonna go through because there's not really a reason for the road to be closed. I mean, it's not like there's a big hole in the road or anything like that. Over here, you can see more of the stadium. We're going to get through the little road closure here. Again, I mean, it's kind of goofy that the road is closed right there. It doesn't really make too much sense. So I'll pull over again. This time I'll leave the air conditioner running. It's a scorcher. Let me get out here, kind of the other side. All right, so here we are, kind of on the other end where they're doing most of the work here. You can see those cranes again in the background and construction equipment. And the hole is really deep. You can't see it. I'm a pretty tall guy, but I can't really lean over there to get you a better perspective of how deep that hole is there. Again, here we are. Here is the. I don't know if you can see it very well. Let me try to zoom in over there. You see right there? That's the overpass. That's the overpass going over 15, and then the Russell Road overpass is right over there. No parking. There is no place to park at this stadium. I don't even know where they're going to have ride shares, taxi cabs. I mean, I'm not even sure how any of that stuff will fit in here because there's just nowhere. This is just this street, the street that we were talking about, the street that's the closed street. I mean, it's just a little two-lane street. There's no room to expand. There's a bunch of there's businesses over here. There's a business park over here. There's more businesses right here, right across the street from where we're at. So I mean, there's no room to expand the road. So it's going to be. I said I was going to leave personal commentary, but it's going to be a nightmare at this stadium to get out of here or to get here for an event. I mean, it's going to be a total disaster. Again, you can see the Las Vegas Strip there off in the background. I'll just kind of, yeah. Obviously, there's nowhere to tell you. There's nowhere to park. So, well, I mean, that's what they wanted, right? They wanted they don't care about the culture of the Raiders or the Raider fans. If they did, they would still be in Oakland. There's more of the site there. And again, I think you can see right there, there's no space between the stadium and the overpassing there on the next street over, which I don't remember what street that is, but we'll drive up there and see what street that is. So this would be facing north towards the Strip, and then if I pan around here, we're going to be panning towards the south. The airport would be kind of like over there behind the double crane with all the wires coming off of it. Like the airport is back beyond there quite a ways, and then to the south that way out of Vegas back towards California would be that direction there. And then obviously this is looking to the east towards the Strip, the Mandalay Bay and the Delano and the Luxor Hotel are all over there. It's really hot. I'm getting back in the car, and then this will be facing west. There's just like basically an industrial park. All right, we'll take the rest of the tour from inside the car because it's too hot out here. I'll turn the camera work back over to Ralph. And then we'll hang on. Seatbelt time. Safety first. Safety first. We don't have hard hats, so maybe we were committing some sort of construction faux pas. All right, so here we go, kind of going around the stadium. You can see all this dirt that they've moved. It's a big pile of dirt over there. Ralph and I were thinking about going over there and putting some Indian artifacts in there. So the construction would have to be halted, but we didn't. So the street that we're coming to is Hacienda. So this is Hacienda Avenue. So we're at the intersection of Polaris and Hacienda Avenue. We're going to go right on Hacienda because we're going to go back around on the other side of the stadium to show you that. Again, it's kind of an industrial area over here. It's just like a lot of little local shops and stuff. So here's the big piles of dirt that they've dug out, and we're going to turn down Aldebaran Avenue, which is going to. This is basically this is the end of the stadium right here, and this is where it's going to meet the road. I mean, you can see it's not even. I mean, it's 1,000 feet from Hacienda to where the stadium's at. I mean, again, there's no parking anywhere. Here's the structure of the stadium. You can see it's right across 15 from Mandalay Bay. Again, more like the construction standards. And we're going to go up here to Dean Martin Drive. We're going to turn right on Dean Martin Drive. The street we're on right now is called West Connector Road. And how much do you want to bet that at some point that this is going to be renamed for the Raiders, like Raiders Road or something like that? So now we're on Dean Martin, and we're on the other side of the stadium from where we were just now. And we're headed back up towards Russell Road. And again, you can see all the cranes. You can see the work that's being done in there. And anyway, so now we're back up approaching Russell Road. Here's the Russell Road overcrossing, and this is the way back on the 15 to get back home, back to California. So anyway, we just thought we would give you a quick little update, just kind of show you what's going on over here at the stadium site. Well, there are actually people over there working. I don't know. Well, it was a bunch of kids. It looked like some kids had broken into the site, and we didn't get that on video. Anyway, that's it for now. We're headed back home. We'll see you later. And that's your update from what's going on here in Las Vegas. So yeah.
Hey, thank you so much Brian Cowles. That was Beyond the Call of Duty, folks. Find it, give him a like on Facebook. That was a great Facebook live stream. That was something else, and well done. And not only that, whoops, excuse me. Sorry, folks. Sorry about that, folks. That was done today. Yeah, it was done today. Trying to get this thing to stay up here. Stop dragging it. There we go. All right, now, wasn't that something? That was cool. I thought that was quite cool. Quite cool. And I'll go back to get your comments. And Black Lion says, it's up to the fans. I got that one. Greetings. Malcontent says, excellent video. Wasn't it, though? It was quite, wasn't it? It really quite excellent. Quite excellent video. And Black Lion says, Davis has to be out of his mind, shaking my head. Cowboy Wrestler, how you doing? He says, okay, I'm back. The problem was with me. I have resolved it. Okay, great. But you're here. Several observations. First of all, welcome to Zenny62. Just showed the video. I want to call it the Caldwell's video. Brian Caldwell is a Facebook friend and fan of the show and the blog, and he answered the call. And I said, hey, if anyone's out there in Las Vegas, would you make a video? I was interested to see what the land looked like, you know, after the monsoons, and there was rain the night before, but it's so hot, like 113 degrees, so hot that obviously the water just, you know, whatever water was there went away like that. And it's obviously too hot to work. And because I looked at the live stream video today, land was barren of workers, just barren. And but Brian, as Brian pointed out to you, and he's absolutely right, there is no space to park. And once they start putting in what few streets and roads there are going to be, I mean, just for access around the stadium, forget it. It sits, the way it's designed, it's going to sit cheek by jowl with the street. And those streets are not wide enough. It's not like the Coliseum. The Coliseum area is accustomed to handling hundreds of thousands of vehicle movements daily without huge traffic jams. I mean, of course, there's traffic, right, along San Leandro Boulevard, but you've got, it's a perfect grid system that consists of roads that have stood the test of time, unlike that grid system. That grid system was not designed at all for what it's about to experience, or what it's going to experience, yeah, in a few years. It just not at all. Now, Cowboy Wrestler says, honestly, the Raiders need to go ahead and call UNLV and get them to make the improvements necessary for them to play at Boyd for the next 2 years. I don't want them in Oakland anymore. Go by. Desmond Davis says the stadium parking will be worse than Candlestick. Oh God, Desmond, I've been to Candlestick. If you think that Candlestick was bad, I say was because it's torn down. Candlestick has nothing at all on what this place is going to present. I mean, nothing. It is that bad. And let me see if I can find a, of course I can, another photograph to show you that I think puts what Brian and I are talking about in stark relief. And let's see here. This is, yeah, this is a great shot. Take a look at this, folks. All right, this is from earlier today. This is a still, okay? See this live stream cam? That's the street. That's Dean Martin. That eventually will be the rim of the stadium. Okay, you see how look at that. You see how small that is. That's the rim of the stadium, and that's Dean Martin. That's it. Look at that, and you can get an idea of how to what extent that really is not all that big. All right, and look at this container. Okay, you have that container here. Bring that container over here. Okay, there's not a lot of space there. If you want to talk about parking and access and people walking, it's not there. Okay, that wall is the inner wall of the stadium. There'll be an outer wall here. Okay, see how this is indicated? That part eventually will be where the field rolls out. Okay, look at this. There's not much space at all. These aren't trucks. These are bars. These are bars. That's a truck. That's a container truck. Okay, all right. So you don't have a lot of space here at all. It just isn't there. And again, the more they build, the more that's going to become obvious. And the bigger, when you see how big the thing actually is with respect to what's around it, it's going to be comical. It's going to be like this monster that's in a cage and it can't go anywhere. It's going to, right? Seriously, that's what it's going to look like. It's just going to say, "Oh, I'll just sit here." Bink, you know? Wow. So, Brett Lyons says Davis could have paid half for a stadium in Oakland. Yep. And saved more money than doing this deal in Vegas. Cowboy Wrestler says, having been to Candlestick Park, also I can say that parking was a cluster blank. Raider Kuko, hey Raider, how you doing? He says, I was in Vegas a couple of weeks ago and saw very little activity at the construction site. You would think that construction should be going faster. I have a theory why that is, Raider. Dean Willie says, Vegas is dumb for going along with this. They should have backed out and took the time to find a better site with parking. Go for expansion team. Dean Willie then follows, says, take the time to create a better finance plan too. Yes. Raider Kuko says, they are building Wrigley Field West in Vegas with no parking. Yeah. Yep. Black Lion says, a giant money pit. Malcontent writes, it's like a square peg in a round hole. Orlando Jimenez says, did the Raiders buy the golf course across the way? No. Or do we know if they are still trying to figure out parking? Yes, they are. I'm guessing the Raiders are not going to talk much until something good happens. That's correct. And that's why I made that blog post, because, look, they say ticket sales are going well, but they won't give us actual numbers for what's going well. Then they say, well, we haven't put the lower bowl PSLs on sales yet. So if you haven't done that, how do you know ticket sales are going well? What does well mean? And then not only that, how many people are accepting the financing plan of those who bought the high-end tickets? Because the question remains, are they going to be able to pay for example, if it's two tickets for $40,000 total, are they going to be able to pay the $6,600 a year financing cost each year? What happens when they come up short? Why is it that the Raiders have said that they expect to raise $160 million for PSLs when they said that they expected to pay $250 million for the personal seat license, from the personal seat license, in other words, to get that money and apply it to construction? What the Raiders are doing is they're taking the Bank of America line of credit of $850 million. They're adding that to the NFL G4 loan of $200 million, not $250, $200 million, okay? And then they're adding that to what they say is $750 million. But get this, folks, it's not $750 million they actually got. It's $547 million. The bond issue that was let has only brought in $547 million. The bond issue in total was $650 million. They had already collected roughly $46 million, which they gave to the Raiders, leaving them with a $56 million gap. Now you're saying, how are they going to fill that gap? Well, the Raiders are collecting the stadium tax money now, and according to my calculations, based on the average revenue per month, it's going to take them another 14 months to fill that gap, if that, maybe longer. So about 14.4 months. Okay. So what's going on, and the reason why they're not working at pace, my theory is their budget. First of all, they don't have everybody on site working. They said they expect to add more people, but I'm only looking at what they don't have. And I'm saying, hey, look, if you say you've got a budget of 1.8 billion, and yet if you look at the stadium construction document, it doesn't include parking as a cost, and it doesn't for the offsite infrastructure costs. None of that's there. That's a problem. That's a problem. That's a gigantic problem. It means that, oh, and of course, they didn't include the relocation fee either, but that's $370 million. But let's just take that out of the equation because it's not a construction issue. The NFL could play with that however it wants to. All right. So, Malcontent says, in Oakland, the Raiders had the black hole, but in Las Vegas, this Raiders stadium finances a black box. Black Lion Supreme says, facts, Malcontent. Kevin KD, how you doing? Kevin KD says, Malcontent, nice. Charles Rhodes says, batten the hatches. And Dean Woolley says, Black Lion Supreme, the renovation plan would have been cheaper and faster. Yes, absolutely. Kevin KD says, Dean Woolley, tell me about it. Black Lion says, facts, Dean Woolley. Lunchater says, stop hating, y'all lost the team. And to which I say to this, no one's hating, okay? And secondly, how much are the Raiders paying you to write that? Because someone but the Raiders has got to be paying you, man. I am really convinced that the people who come just to troll are being paid by the Raiders to troll this only live stream that focuses on this thing, okay? All right? I don't believe it. I don't believe you for a second, because if you were paid, you wouldn't say so. You wouldn't say, yeah, they're paying me, all right? You wouldn't say that at all. So I don't believe you, okay? Joe says Mark can't afford to pay him. Oh, Mark can afford to pay him. He can. Black Lion says, we haven't lost anything. Yep, stop trolling. That's true. That's really true, though. The Raiders are in Oakland. Tom Caller says, that's what I wonder, too. They almost never work Sundays or nighttime, only Mondays till Saturday, 8 till 5. It's budgeting. Dean Willie says, pro-Vegas supporters make no sense at all. Kevin KD says, I think that they're being paid in 3 PSLs. Yeah, I believe that. I really believe that, okay? Because if you start looking at the details behind this, if you have any reasonable mind at all, fan or no, this is a problem. I mean, it is a gigantic problem, okay? Kevin KD says, that was a good one. That was a good one, Kevin KD. That was the funny one of the night. I think they're being paid in free PSLs. And look, not that far be it for me to say no one can have their own opinion. Of course you can. But hey, reasonable people can argue, and without insulting, all right? And my point is that this project has very basic financial structural problems, okay? Financial structural problems. Cabaret says, I'm hating, but it's out of my hands, so there's nothing I can do but vent and cry. Dean Willie says, Kevin KD, good one. Yeah, but here's the thing, all right? And that's why I continue to pay attention to this, because we have this, I call it binary culture. You either got it, the approval, or you didn't. But let me ask, all right, this is going to be a lot of fun. Let me ask a question. How many of you know what the Challenger accident was? Just say yes or no. Why or in? Do you know what the Challenger accident was? And as I'll watch and I'll read off your answers as they come through. Desmond knows what it was. There's a yes. Orlando, yes. Mike Lowry says no. Kevin KD says, I still want the colors and name. Malcontent does. Says yes. And so, okay, I'll explain what I mean when I offer the Challenger as accident as an example. It was, and I think it really fits here. The Challenger was a space shuttle that tragically and sadly exploded after liftoff. Um, the culprit of the explosion were something called the O-rings made by a company called Morton Thiokol. NASA was warned that when those O-rings reach a certain degree below zero temperature, all right, they'd stiffen. And when those O-rings stiffen against the explosive tank, it creates a chain reaction, which, okay, they were warned that that would happen. That's precisely what happened. But my point is, folks, they were warned. They did nothing about it. Why? Oh, we got to get this off the ground. You know, it's hubris. We have to do this. We have to get this off the ground. We got to send the first woman in space. Yes, first teacher in space. You know, all this stuff, right? We have to maintain our funding, as opposed to, whoa, we better like stop this. That changed everything. My point is that beware of any project where a person is getting warnings. Like in my case, I told them, and it's documented, last year, you don't have enough money to pay off your bond issue. It's going to fall on the taxpayers. Now I say you're not going to get enough money. Oh, you're wrong, Zinni. You're wrong. You're wrong. No, I'm not wrong. And all everyone ever rested on was, I thought originally, you know, I made a bet that the NFL, I didn't think the NFL was going to actually put Mark Davis in this position, but they did. Okay, fine. It doesn't mean the deal itself is good. You see, what you have to understand, for those of you who are trolling, is the difference, because I think some of you are, with all due respect, too young to get it. That's why I think maybe you're being paid, all right? There's a difference between politics and economics. Just because politically something was passed doesn't mean the economics are sound, or in the case of the space shuttle, the structure was sound. Politics moves a lot of projects that have no business getting approved. But because they get approved, you make the assumption that the people approving it are right. I am trying to explain to you to stop that. That's not the way the world works, and you're going to be disappointed at every turn in life if you believe that. That's why I'm in the situation now. Don't believe it. Don't, and again, don't be afraid, because you can do this. This is the age of the internet, to sweat the details. Do the math. If you don't understand how to find something, ask. It only takes a few seconds or minutes. Malcontent sends me stuff all the time. There are a lot of bright people out there, including yourself. But you refuse, for whatever reason, because you don't want to, you know, you refuse to go in that direction. But let me tell you something here, all right? If the Raiders had done my plan, as Mark Davis asked me to do, either in Oakland or Las Vegas, it would have penciled out. Much better than this one. Just saying, okay? When you ask people to do homework, don't turn your back on them. That's what the Raiders did in my case. Davis asked me. Mike Silver was there when he did. Just saying, that was 2015 spring NFL owners meeting. All right? Now, Dean Willie says a good architect would have a great renovation design. I think a renovated Coliseum is an exciting idea. Black Lion says, a.k.a. the LA Seahawks. John Akala says single game tickets are going to be too expensive for the locals, and they're going to be an attendance problem. Yeah. Don't believe the hype, says Arcal. And Richie says, I wonder what the vibe at the stadium will be like. It will never be the same like the LA Coliseum. No, it won't be like that. It'll be something completely different. It'll be, I think, a lot. I think the one thing you'll hear at this stadium, because it's domed, that you won't hear, that you haven't heard the others, is that electronic whining sound because of all the screens going and everything. But my concern is really has to do with is two things. First of all, the temperature. That roof is accepting light into it, okay? And my concern is that it produces a kind of greenhouse effect, that they may not have enough power in terms of its air conditioning system to overcome. To me, given the Las Vegas weather, given the fact that the outer skin of the stadium is going to get hot, right? Because of that, my concern would be how the outer skin is going to affect the heating inside and the overall temperature inside for the fans. That to me reads, just looking at the design, it reads a problem. It didn't need to be translucent like that. They should have just left it black, as opposed to having some sort of sunroof, right? That reads problem to me. Okay, and the reason why I say that is this comes from being an architecture school and building an earth sheltered design house. I made a model of it, and the one concern when I actually ran the test, because I was trying to use the sun to heat during the winter, which I designed, but during the summer, I get this overheated hump because I got this one giant pit of glass that's just letting sun in from, you know, the south side, right? You know, and it's just bathing the place in heat. And I'm thinking, my God, how am I going to cool this place efficiently? That is something the Raiders really have to ask themselves. That's a really big concern, because you don't have any other facility like this in Las Vegas. You take a look at T-Mobile, it doesn't have a roof like that. I can't think of a single place in Las Vegas that has that kind of roof. Can you? Just curious. Cabarrus says, I've only been to one Raider game, and it was Exposition Park. In 90, they were playing the Chiefs, and it was, let me tell you, it was one of the worst experiences of my lifetime. Charles Roach says, don't believe the hype. Black Lion says, Seattle Seahawks were packed and ready to go to LA. Remember that? Yep. Malcolmton says, holy bleep, that's a pressure cooker. Yeah, absolutely. And Cabarrus says, got that one. Ms. Zeitgeist, hi. Ms. Zeitgeist says, did anyone watch the NBA Summer League in Vegas and notice how the fan attendance was? At least 70% of the seats were empty. I have noticed that. Ms. Zeitgeist, I'm glad you pointed that out. I have noticed that. Tom Kohler says, nothing happens with the headquarters in Henderson. They want to start construction there by June, excuse me. Cabarrus says, excuse, it was the Steelers, not the Chiefs. Gotcha. In fact, you know what? Let me see if there's anything written about, I think it's called ETFE roof and heat and sun. I wonder if anybody's written anything about that. Let's see here. It says ETF guy controlling solar gain. It says an ETFE is an exciting new and modern approach to roofing with benefits. I'm looking at what I'm looking at right here is this is what I'm looking at. Okay, it says a ETFE guy controlling solar gain. All right, that's what I'm looking at. So just wanting to see what the comments are. It says it's exciting new roofing with benefits which can outweigh glass and other products. However, there are certain aspects of the product which might deter some contractors. How can we allay those concerns? As a clear material with a high level of light transmission and good insulation properties, ETFE foil, when made into cushions, suffers from many of the same problems as glass. Most critically, solar gain leading to spaces overheating. Hey folks, I just found this randomly. I didn't bookmark this. I just found this randomly. Okay, I didn't bookmark this. Somebody tweet this out. I just found this randomly, all right? Now we're talking about Las Vegas where the temperature is, what, 110 to 15 degrees? And this, wow, okay. All right, now, a well-recognized problem, ETFE foil is often fitted or printed with a geometric pattern and a silver ink to reflect some sunlight off the membrane surface and away from the space below. Whilst some of these fitting patterns cover up to 70% or 80% of the surface of the membrane, cutting out up to some percentage of light transmitted through the foil, they have a question mark, The eye naturally sees the view through clear spaces rather than the fritted pattern, and therefore, the ETFE roof retains its impression of being clear. Whilst effective, however, fritting this is not always enough, and depending on the thermal performance of a building, additional layers of membrane can be drawn upon to assist. For installations which suffer from acoustic problems, we recommend the application of a rain suppression layer, heavy netting over the top layer of the ETFE cushions. From an acoustic point of view, this tension heat netting controls the reverberation of rain noise on the surface of the ETFE and dampens the sound. Oh, so that when it rains, something else I didn't think of. With this large space, when it rains, you're gonna hear that patter, like, right? Okay. And it says, however, by adding a rain suppression layer, there's an added effect of reducing the levels of light allowed to pass through the ETFE and into the space below. In turn, this affects the heat and solar gain created. As a guideline, the addition of a standard rain suppression mesh can reduce the light transmission by an average of 50%. For one of our projects which suffered terribly from solar gain, this method was used to control the G value in the space. So there you go. I mean, what we have found out in just a few seconds of time is that ETFE can produce a solar kind of greenhouse problem in terms of overheating in a space, which would call for the additional layering to basically reduce the sun coming in. Folks, we're talking about Las Vegas and the desert. Wow, what a bonehead problem. Oh my God, okay? Hey, Jamal Mills, how you doing? Desmond says, the problem I feel is nobody is mentioning is that the Rams Stadium is a better attraction and a closer proximity to the NorCal Raider fans. Yeah, it is. Dean Willie says, renovating stadium is almost building a new one. Keep Mountain Davis, overhaul it, tear down the rest of it. Why Davis didn't go along with that makes no sense. He never wanted that. That's the first thing that I thought of, because my original plan would have cost $797 million. I was going to keep the east side, but basically make the east side and the west the same, right? And start to enclose it. So Richie G says, how many people do you think will ask for their $100 PSL deposits back? Only $999 to hope they have layaways for y'all. John Alcala asks, he says, do Raiders have to resolve parking issue by September? Yes, they do. Will NFL do something if they don't come up with a suitable plan for NFL satisfaction? Well, John, it's not the NFL that decides it. It's Clark County. Okay. However, I'll see what I can find up, going up the flagpole. Charles Rhodes says, too hot? Yeah, that's the way it looks. Too hot. I don't know that this issue has ever been raised with anybody. I'm sure it has internally. I'll be surprised if it didn't. But it comes up to, what it comes up to is basically an additional expense. And you have to remember, this was the original design of this, all right? Let me show you what we're talking about here, okay? And so you can get an idea of this issue, because this is shaping up to be a problem. Take a look at this. This is the roof, all right? You see how that's designed? Okay? And what it's supposed to look like, all right? And then if we take a look at this artist rendition, we can see inside, right? So you have the light coming in from different perspectives, right? And then let's see if we can find a interior view of this for the Raiders. Yeah, look at this, folks. All right, you see that? Look at that. That spells greenhouse. Okay, That spells hot. You see this? Look at all. Look at all this. Clear sky. Clear sky. Sun coming in. And this is a roof. You have this bringing in the heat and then trapping the heat and creating a greenhouse. Okay, that's what you have. That's bad, folks. You know, it reminds me of a problem that occurred in the Astrodome. And at one point, the Astrodome, because of where its air conditioner was situated, I believe it caused clouds to form and rain. Just saying, all right? So there is not, in fact, an angle I can think of. Here's another one, okay? Look at this, all right? There's no angle that doesn't show a clear sky above in this roof. This is a problem waiting to happen. You've got sun coming up here and here. Okay? And the sun comes in from this angle. See that? They got the shadow detail kind of right there. Wow. Whoo, doggy. That's a problem. Hey, Brian Caldwell. Hey, thank you for the video, man. Brian is here, everybody. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Thank you. Trying to highlight your name so I can say, give you a shout out like that. Thanks. It says, thanks, Brian. Thank you. Awesome video. Hey, man. We were talking about your hey, Brian, are you on Skype there? Or by chance? Oh, Brian can hear me or not. Let me see something here. Maybe I'm wondering. Black Lion says, not to mention all the people who generate more heat. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Brian. Hey, Brian, you still there? Or did we lose you? You're here? Okay, cool. Are you, well, obviously you're on your computer. Let me try something here, because I'd like to see if I can bring you in here in a bit of an innovative way here, as I like to say. Let's see here. Let's see here. Show all history. How's that one? I've never quite done this by Facebook. Okay, there's that. Oh, I just turned midnight. Okay, you know that. Dashboard, rugby, pages. There we are. Facebook. Let's see here. Okay. I am trying to find. Right. Let's see here. This is going to be one of those days where things are slow. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Trying, waiting, and dang it. Ah, there we go. Got it. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Ringling Brothers, Barnum Bailey Circus. Let's see here. Friend's message. I wonder if this is callable. I'm trying to see if I can find. I'm trying to see if I can voice call Brian. I've never done a Facebook call. Let's see here. It's ringing. Hey, it's ringing. Maybe calling you, Brian. See if this works. Ring, ring, ring. That call failed. Oh well. Was trying to call you, Brian. He's probably okay. I'm live. All right. So anyway, was trying to get Brian Caldwell on the voice to see if I could call him. You want right? I was trying to call him through the computer. Unfortunately, it kind of went through the phone. And so let me go back to the live stream commentary. And John Marks says, this Vegas stadium will be the highest paid public stadium in all of sports. Yes, true. Cowboy Wrestler says, he erased that. Orlando Jimenez. Corey Brown says, no viable parking plan. Looks like it. And John Marks is with the facts. He's right. Orlando Jimenez writes, I know we're talking a lot about Vegas. What is Oakland doing? Haven't really heard anything about, but trying to get a stadium for the A's. That's true. I've been trying to keep up since I am deployed again. Oh, first of all, where are you deployed to? Thank you for serving our country. I want to get that out of the way. Richie G says, oh, and to answer your other question, the focus has been singularly on the Oakland Athletics because the A's have proven themselves a welcome and true partner to the city of Oakland, and in particular to Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf. All right. So now Richie G says the first time the Raiders went to Mexico City, I thought Mark was taking notes on one of the biggest historic renovations in the world. So did I. John Akala says, is Raiders lease extension supposedly going to be done this week since JPA's meeting on Friday? That's what I'm thinking. John Marks says, A's president was on KRON news about the A's stadium end of the year. Yep. And John Cabarrus says, Z seems like Orlando is on the Raiders payroll. Orlando, who? Jimenez? No, I hope so. Brian Caldwell says, sorry, I'm driving. I tried to answer. Oh, right on. I appreciate that, Brian. Wait, well, look, don't talk and drive. In fact, in Georgia, that's now officially highly against the law. Okay, so keep driving. But I don't think Orlando said anything bad. He said that he was just trying to keep up with what's going on, and he was right. I mean, look, we have not, as a city of Oakland, really come through with a plan, a public plan regarding the future of the Coliseum. And unlike a lot of number of things in Oakland, we have we act like a right-wing controlled city that pretends to be progressive, but has the highest population of homeless in its history, shows no real interest in doing anything about the program, because if the city of Oakland wanted to end the homeless problem in Oakland, it could take $15 million, which it has like that. I mean, get this. We pay settlements to individuals that are basically 1/3 of what I'm talking about in terms of size. All right? The city of Oakland does. You mean to tell me we can't take $15 million divided by the 4,000 homeless and give them each a grant, which would be somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000 per person? That would help everybody. On top of, not a replacement to, but on top of the existing programs that are there. But instead, we have a situation where around Lake Merritt, there are not less than 7 homeless camps. That's unheard of. But it's reality. The reason why I pointed to the Challenger is because, to me, the Challenger is an example of the failure of government. If you want another example of the failure of government, it's what cities are not doing to make sure homeless residents have homes in a sea of wealth. Perceived wealth. So anyway, all right, enough of that for me. Yeah. John Mark says, got that one. Brian got Line says the NFL is a different animal. It is. Let me see what the agenda. Let me see if the agenda for the JPA meeting has been posted. Let's see, a Coliseum JPA meeting agenda. Meetings. Upcoming meetings. Let's see here. June 15th. Yep, it's June 28th. No, July 27th. July 27th is the next meeting. It's not this week. It's July 27th, which is next week. And there's no agenda posted for it. So it's July 27th. I'll note that. Board meeting is July 27th. Okay. So, there you go. Okay. Oh, whoops, sorry about that. Cowboy Wrestler says I read my, okay. And John Mark says, yep, Zinni's right about that, this one. Thanks. Ms. Zeitgeist writes, Salt Lake City and Dallas house the homeless. It actually saves money to give them shelter to leave them than to leave them on the street. But my point is that what bothers me is that there's a them as opposed to people who don't want to be in that position. Just invest in them. You know, just, what's the deal? A $3,000 or $4,000 grant, help them find a place, someplace. Okay, maybe somebody needs to go home they can't afford to. There's that. All right. It doesn't make any sense at all. If they want to double up with someone, we've just given them enough money to really do that, and then also help them get employed, right? So, although I have to remark that employment is more of a problem in the Bay Area for those who don't have a tech skill than it should be. Do you realize that in Oakland, we can't get hotels built because supposedly they won't hire union people? There's some sort of union issue where in Oakland that's stopping us, as I'm told, that's stopping us from getting hotels built. I'm not poo-pooing unions at all. A good economic development officer brings the unions in and forms a deal that works to the benefit of everybody. But we haven't done that in this version of Oakland. This version of Oakland doesn't know how to do deals like that. Doesn't try. Malconton says, sue the Raiders, get the money. John Marks agrees. He also says, make sure y'all spend a lot of money when you come to the games in Vegas. Joseph Binsman, how you doing? Black Lion says, I say sue the Raiders and get everything, including the name and the colors. You gotta win the court case first. Cowboy Russell says, seeing how Oakland is run, you would think it's Sparta, Mississippi. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. John Marks says, you would have to come up with a homeless task force to organize it. We have, John Marks, we have tons of homeless task forces in Oakland. I mean, we really do. Hey, folks, I'm going to stop at 1:30 tonight, mainly for reasons of getting rest. This has been a weird period of all that. So, Malcontent says, Cowboy Wrestler, too many hipsters here to be confused with anywhere in Mississippi. Well, there's hipsters, except there are hipsters there too. Just keep that in mind, okay? Let me see what anything else is coming up here regarding Um, hmm. Yeah, that board. I know that there's also the Warriors arbitration that's being worked out. I was told to expect that the Raiders would sign the agreement. I was told basically that was, that, that's what I was told. Um, let's see what else you have to say. John Mark says in the heat of the night. Also, we have. Oh, by the way, slightly new design in Oakland News Now, by the way. Okay. I added story panels. So there's 4 story panels in preparation for 2 large events that I'm credentialed to cover. One San Diego Comic-Con, and the other Rugby World Cup Sevens in San Francisco. That's this week. Support women's rugby. Please. Now, let's see what else is out there regarding news as far as the Raiders. Just type in the Raiders. Raiders' success in selling tickets in Vegas makes some uneasy. Oh boy. That's, whatever. Revamped Raiders could flop in John Gruden's coaching return. Ooh! This was just posted 2 hours ago. Fantasy football booms and busts, the Oakland Raiders. This is by Liz Latza. Liz Latza cheeks. She's got cheekies. Just saying. She's just got cheekies. Anyway, she says, Brad Jarrett Cook was a hot blah, 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 blah. Here. Okay. Brad Jarrett Cook in 1998 Armageddon was the hot summer blockbuster. Next, Too Close had people engaging in suggestive dance, and then the 44-year-old quarterback Steve DeBerg was still alive and kicking in the NFL. He's still alive. Though an eternity ago, John Gruden desires to live in decades long past by employing a smash-mouth attack while completely turning a blind eye to the insightfulness of advanced analytics. His collection of 30-somethings acquired this offseason rubber stamps this belief. Chucky's refusal to evolve makes Lynch interesting, talking about Marshawn Lynch, at his heavily slashed ADP, particularly behind an offensive line Pro Football Focus projects as the 7th best in the league. But Cook owns the most profit potential. Tight ends under Gruden during his previous stints with Oakland and Tampa Bay were more blocking pieces, but it could be argued he never had a pass catcher the caliber of Cook. It's probably why the veteran drew high praise from his head coach in OTAs and minicamp. Quietly off a career best 54 receptions, Cook could repeat his tight end per game strategy, yada, yada, yada. Okay. All right. Blah, 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 blah. This is overvalued. All right. She says Amari Cooper is overvalued. True or false, Derek Carr turns a profit of his 148.1 ADP and finishes inside the position's top 18. Brad says false. Liz says false. They have no faith in Derek Carr. Says that if Gruden gets his wish of instituting a largely conservative offense, another QB 20 finish seems inevitable for Carr. Give me cheaper alternatives, Mitch Trubisky, Blake Bortles. All right, I'm going to stop you right there. I'm telling you something, all right, folks? John Gruden's throwing up a smokescreen. He is not installing a 1998 offense. John said so. John said that he is going to go with, he basically telegraphed it a number of times. He said he wanted his quarterback to be both a runner and a passer, that he wanted to use the no huddle, and multiple sets. So I don't, from a moment, believe that John Gruden's going to come in with some kind of offense like that. I think he's going to come in with a thoroughly modern, no huddle system that he believes will be very hard to stop. That's what I believe. I don't think he's going to come in, given what he said with that. And not only that, the reason why he has these veterans is because he wants people who can quickly pick up what he's teaching and win now. He's in win now mode. And so he believes that the first step toward winning is the ability to have somebody pick up your instructions quickly. That's all he's doing. So, getting your comments. Black Lion says, oh, I think extension team could embrace the Laters. Kevin KD says, Dean Willing, I have the same premonition as you, which is, what is that? What's that premonition? It is, Black Lion says, damages will be so high that I believe Davis would give up the Raiders' name in an out-of-court settlement. That could happen. I doubt it, but that could happen. I think Mark would rather not do that. John Mark says it remains to be seen if Gruden can still coach. And they are still the Oakland Raiders. Yep, that's true. Malcolm says Gruden plus Marshawn equals ticket sales. Correct. John Marks writes, why would your loyalty to a team continue after it's moved 3 times, LA, back to Oakland, and now Vegas? Vin Sully still possesses about letting King go. Okay. Dean Willie says Black Lion Supreme damages will be so high. I got that one. Corey Brown says I think an expansion team could replace the Raiders because we made them so we could do even better next time. Corey, I agree with you. I think Oakland should have an expansion team that celebrates its history in sports, the Oakland Invaders. Because that way, when the Oakland Invaders play the Raiders, they will be invading. All right? It will be an invasion. An invasion. Complete invasion. Cowboy Wheeler says Z. Since I've been in Dallas, I've had DTV, Sun Ticket, so I can watch Raiders games. This week, I got rid of the Sun Ticket. Whoa! Because I'm no longer going to waste my time and energy on this team. Wow. I hear you, my brother. Orlando Jimenez says, people are going to speculate John's coaching until the season starts. We will see. John is a smart coach. A little old school with a new school flavor. My opinion, but we'll see. Who will pay this? Maybe Uncle Shelby will cough up the money. I think he will. Maybe he'll make a deal to have the Raiders. You never know how this is going to shake out. Black Lion says, we will never give up until it's over. John Marks, prepare for war. John Marks says, oh yeah, my brother. Black Lion Supreme. John Marks is good cowboy wrestler. John Marks says, see, even Zinni likes the Oakland Invaders. Yes, I do. John Marks says, I have high respect for cowboy wrestler. Malcontent writes, FYI, thank you for that email announcing the live stream. Oh, you're welcome. That's true. That's extremely helpful. Yeah, thanks. And because I realized that you all don't get the notifications like you should. And I thought, wait a minute, why don't I just send out an email and say, hey, it's happening now. And then just put a link in there, right? Yeah, and I'll do that when I come on so that it makes it easier for everybody. Yeah, the Invaders were fun. Kevin KD says, if they bring the Invaders to Oakland, NFL, they should make the blue parts of the uniform navy, and they should change the logo. Looks too much like the Chargers. Yeah, I had that fist with the lightning bolt. I didn't like that. I mean, I think, as I the Invaders, it shouldn't be a person. It should be just Invaders. Just the words, right? Invaders. That would look cool. Invaders. Across the helmet. Invaders. Says it all. What do? We're invaders. We invade. You know, no skull and crossbone or anything. No, not like just invaders. Simple, in your face, to the point. We're invading you. That's it. Oh boy. John Mark says, I believe they get the invader blue and gold. Yep. Hey, it's 124, folks. Says Corey Brown says, if they give us an expansion team with an owner loyal to the Oakland, I'd be all in. Cowboy Russell says, John Marks, it's the East Bay blood in me. I want blue, gold, and white with a little black. Blue, gold, white, and black. Yeah. Because blue, gold, white, and black would be a homage to the Raiders, but then a celebration of the California Golden Bears, right? You know what I mean? It would be a mix of them. You know, one part like Cal Golden Bears and Golden State Warriors, other part Oakland Raiders and the Oakland Invaders, and bring them all together. Boom. There you go. Okay. Kevin KD says the Las Vegas Raiders can wear the AFL unis and the Oakland Raiders can wear the current ones. I like that. Kevin KD says, or they could be the Raiders both in Las Vegas and Oakland. The LV franchise can have the original Raiders logo and the Super Bowl in LA, and the Oakland version can have the two Super Bowls in Oakland. Huh. Who was the owner of the Oakland Invaders was a guy named Tad Talby, who's actually still around. He's a billionaire investor kind of guy. Tab Talby. Yeah. John Mark says, I can see the Navy. Hey, folks, it's 125. I'm going to start winding down. Hey, glad you all tuned in. Tomorrow, I am still trying to nail down, although he says he's going to do it, Farrar Tahir. Now, if you're wondering who that is, let me show you. Because once I show you the picture, you'll say, oh, yeah. Here. Right here. All right. And this is, here we go. All right. This is him. Bam. Recognize him from Star Trek? There he is. Farrar Tahir. You might remember he was. He also played the leader of the 10 Rings. He's now on. He's playing Richard V on Broadway. That's he with wife. Family. Nice family. Tahir. So we're trying to get Mr. Tahir on as the guest to talk about his, that's him for Star Trek. Recognize the logo, okay? All right. There he is at the Star Trek premiere. So hopefully. And if you're wondering, hey, wasn't that the guy in Iron Man? All right. The answer is yes. Remember? Iron Man? Played the villain. There he goes. All right. Remember that one? Farrar Tahir. So anyway, that's the person I'm working on, right? Trying to get. So, supposed to be tomorrow. I'll keep you posted. And maybe a little earlier, so I'll keep you posted. I'll send the email update, all right? Black Lion asks, what's the scariest movie of all time? He says it's The Exorcist. I say Halloween. Malcolmton says, look how much better we feel about the A's since John Fisher and Dave Cavall took over from Lou Wolf. The right owner, president, really matters. And watch horror films. Keep America strong, everybody. That's right. All right, folks, I'm shuffling off the buffalo. Be good to each other. And remember something. Russia invaded us. We can't let that happen again. Just saying. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. See ya. See you tomorrow. Remember, keep your email peeled for news about Farad Tahir. See you, everybody. Good night. Good night, y'all. Good night. Thumbs up. Thank you all. Thank you, Orlando. Thank you, Corey. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brian Caldwell's again. Thank you all. Thank you. See ya. And by the way, don't forget to invest. Thank you.